Hello everyone and welcome to episode 41, as this is going to be a completely different episode 41 that you all will not know about because thanks to OBS, they disabled my microphone without me knowing it as I was recording the whole time, and there was no audio. So now we're going to be kind of doing a past tense fucking video of this episode of the first Stampede before we go to Dungeon Wars. As we're going to try to do our best to keep this within the time frame. Hopefully nothing gets cut or anything like that. It should be okay, though. As for the first two pre-show matches, our first one is Sexy Eddie taking on Shinjiro Irie, as Shinjiro Irie winning with the Beast Bomber there. Pretty self-explanatory. That was just, hadn't booked Shinjiro Irie in a hot minute. Wanted to give him a shot there on the pre-show. Next pre-show matchup, as it is Pete Dunne and TJ Wilson, a match that definitely could have been on the main card, as TJ Wilson winning just under 10 minutes with the Canadian Maple Leaf there, as he did a very good job, as well as did Pete Dunne, as TJ Wilson also getting hurt. That was wild, as we have our Stampede TV intro, as always, here. We got Brock Lesnar, Bryan Danielson, Pac, as we have Christian in there, just for the fuck of it, just because he's over, and then Kevin Steen, and we have Sasha Banks and Sami Zayn, as we open up the show with a Pac promo, Blood Generation promo, as Pac boasting about his win. He finally beat Bryan Danielson, and I wouldn't say finally beat Bryan Danielson, but he finally ends his feud with Bryan Danielson as he won the cage match. But that gets interrupted. That celebration of him being the champion still gets interrupted by the Dark Order of Brock Lesnar, Father James Mitchell, and Brody King by his side. As Father James Mitchell says his Deacon of Destruction, as his eyes sat back on that Canadian Heavyweight title. He sent you a message. He sent Bryan a message back at Golden Grudge with F5ing both of you in the cage. And now his eyes set on you, Pac. You are the man. You are the unfortunate man who's going to face my beast incarnate. But before we get to see Pac's response, we get Bret Hart. As Bret Hart makes his way out to the ramp, and he announces Dungeon Wars. Dungeon Wars is going to be the biggest event for hopefully the CWA, as we are going to have a 3v3 cage match, much like the WCW 98 War Games match, where we're going to have 3 men starting it out, though, instead of the 2 men. We're going to have 3 men start out, 1 from each team, starting out every 2 minutes. A new member joins the match until the match only ends when all 9 people are in the double cage. As for who's going to be in Dungeon Wars, we have the Blood Generation team. It's going to be Pac, Roderick Strong, and it's going to be up to Pac and Roderick Strong to determine who's going to be the third guy. It's going to be Sheamus, or we're going to be Naruki Doi. It's going to be Dark Order team, which is going to be Brock Lesnar, Brody King, and Tommy End. And for the final third team, it's going to be a team led by Bryan Danielson, and we've yet to know who's going to lead beside Bryan Danielson. As far as Dungeon Wars, going to be a big time event. I'm thinking maybe we'll have 2 cage, War Games type matches. But we're going to have the 3v3v3 and maybe a 4v4. As our first matchup on the main card is Candice LeRae taking on Toni Storm, and Candice LeRae wins in just under 10 minutes, 9:59 with the Heartbreaker. As this is, Candice LeRae just is talking to the hard camera, saying that Sasha Banks are next. She was warned her. She said that after Golden Grudge, she beats Toni Storm, she's going to be her next contender. And she's proven it there without a shadow of a doubt by beating Toni Storm there just under 10 minutes. As Candice with a 42, Toni Storm with a 37. I got a 32, kind of but they're just not over. Or at least Toni Storm isn't over. As we see backstage, Bryan talking to Naomichi Marufuji before his match. So this is kind of like they cut to backstage in the locker room, and the announcers, Tony Schiavone, Christian, are talking over that, just the segment itself. So we don't really hear what they're saying, but it is alluding to maybe he's going to join his team, as Naomichi Marufuji and Sammy Guevara is the match. And it's a 62, it's a bang of a matchup, as Naomichi Marufuji wins with a triangle Cobra Clutch in 12 minutes. As, this is a great little mid-card matchup and a big win for Naomichi Marufuji. As for our next matchup, it's not even a matchup, as it's Brody Lee's promo as the new British Commonwealth Champion. But that gets interrupted, though, by Sheamus and Wade Barrett, as Brody Lee trying to, stake his claim as being the new British Commonwealth champion. Finally, he's gotten rid of the Dark Order, as he's finally beaten Tommy End for that championship, and he now is, first promo as champion. It gets interrupted, but it's not the only one that gets interrupted. As Bryan Danielson swings alongside, as Barrett and Sheamus are kind of talking shit to Brody Lee. I remember when that championship was meant to be around someone who from the British Isles, and now we have another champion who does not deserve this, Brody Lee. Why would we beat the shit out of you right now? I will prove it that we are what British Commonwealth Championship is all about. But Bryan Danielson slides across and says, wait a minute now, let's get this, let's make this a fair fight. And they're going to have a tag matchup with Brody Lee and Bryan Danielson, which what a dream matchup, or dream tag team matchup against Wade Barrett and Sheamus. Yeah, that's an awesome big man, little man tag team. As Bryan Danielson pinning Sheamus with the running knee strike. What an awesome fucking team this would be, and Brody Lee and Bryan Danielson. So they get the win over Wade Barrett and Sheamus, another man who might be a part of a Bryan Danielson stable as far as for Dungeon Wars. Is it going to be Bryan Danielson, Naomichi Marufuji, and Brody Lee as the third team? We shall see, though. But after that match, after our main event, we see a post-match brawl. Everybody in Blood Generation's out. They're taking on Bryan Danielson and Brody Lee. Naomichi Marufuji comes out from the back and tries to make the save, and then out comes Dark Order. We have fucking 10 people in this, all over this ringside area, fighting, brawling all over the arena, just beating the shit out of each other as we fade to black to end out this episode. As this was a fun little episode as far as actually booking it goes. Hopefully I did this justice as far as the actual audio here of the kind of director's commentary. As this is sucks when this happens, but luckily I can do something like this to at least we save face, and I have some type of video to show you all. But I feel like the post-match brawl, I felt like it was a good idea. Didn't really do so hot, but we'll take it though. I think it still could have been a lot worse. As far as the actual show goes, it got a 62. We lost Pop still, it's part of CWA Stampede, and that's part of doing the CWA. It kind of sucks, because just offline-wise, we have it set to where we're going to end this series in November, but there's a lot of stuff going on offline where it's like, we probably should have had that on the channel instead, that will show off when this series ends, just as kind of like a, hey, if you think I'm a shit booker or whatnot, here's something I'm doing where it's like, wow, he actually is talented. Wow, he has something to actually brag about and talk about. As far as for this series, there is a perfect ending to it, so I want to keep it to that perfect ending. Hopefully we get there in one piece. I'm not really sure, but thank you all for at least giving this video a chance. If you're like, oh man, that sucks. I was really looking forward to seeing this episode and its original airing and content. I would have too. That would have been nice, but thanks to OBS, we don't get this luxury. We get to record afterwards. But hopefully you all found some enjoyment out of this, as we will catch you next time for more CWA action, as we're going to march towards Dungeon Wars. We are, after this show, we're now 3 weeks away from Dungeon Wars, as hopefully we can have a banger of a Dungeon Wars. Is up, after Dungeon Wars, we got the Memorial Cup Classic, and then finally our series finale is going to be at Cold Fury. It's not going to be a Winter Classic. We could have went a full year, but I just felt like the plans for Cold Fury are going to be great, and I think it would be a perfect time to end out the series, in my opinion. We'll see if that is the case. So thank you all again, and we'll catch you guys next time for more CWA action.